Hello and welcome to another episode of Queer Peer Reviews, where we review queer media, good, bad, and ugly. I'm your host, Jamie. Today with me is my co-host, Bruce.
Hey everybody, here at Queer Peer Reviews, we review your favorites and not so favorites form of media, going from movies, comic books, and TV shows. And today, we're doing something different. We're not doing a review. We're doing another character highlight involving Bill from The Last of Us.
Yeah, it's kind of a character highlight as well as a review of a specific episode from the live-action The Last of Us series.
So we're going to be it's a little more focused on the TV show version, and but we'll also mention the video game counterparts because both actually have different types of storylines. They change drastically, and I do want to bring that up. Another reason why we're doing this video is because the actor that played Bill, Nick Offerman, won an award for Best Supporting Actor in the Independent Spirit Awards, and one of the best, and he also gave out like one of the best speeches.
Yeah, that was a really great speech against like homophobic comments.
Let's play that clip.
That is truly independent, stories with guts, that when homophobic hate comes my way and says, why did you have to make it a gay story? We say, because you ask questions like that, it's not a gay story, it's a love story, you asshole.
Yeah, I think that was honestly one of the best things he could have said to homophobes. Like, we keep telling these stories not because, like, they're not gay stories, they're just love stories. And I feel like that's something people fail to realize. They don't have to always label it, like, why is it gay? It's just a love story.
It is. And what this character, Bill, it was like, they changed a lot from the video game. So, like, in the video game, Bill was like, well, kind of similar. He was like a very paranoid survivalist.
Yeah.
You know, he was very paranoid of everything. He set up traps. But the one thing I remember is in the game, Bill and Frank had a bit of more of a heated relationship. Like, they genuinely didn't like each other, but it was still implied that it was a very much a partner relationship they had, but it was like it ended off horribly. If anybody remembers that cutscene. But in a TV show, they changed it a lot, and honestly, I think it was for the better, and it was one of the most surprising ones because I was expecting Bill to be, a more reoccurring character, but they kind of just saved him for this one episode, which, like I said, I thought it was still great.
It was beautifully written. It's one of my favorite episodes of the show, not because of like its queer representation, but it's a great episode. When I rewatched it for this review, I cried again.
I think a majority of people cried. I got so teary-eyed at the end. It was so beautifully done. But I'm starting from the beginning though. His character, like I said, it starts off as it is a paranoid survivalist. Like, he was waiting for this moment. I remember that. And then he meets Frank, and at first he's not sure, and they eventually start building like a trust. And I think that was this. There was a scene where he was playing the piano.
Oh yeah, and that was day one.
That was day one.
When he made that move on him. But the whole piano scene, which is one of my favorite scenes of that episode, Frank tries playing the piano, but Bill's like, no, like, not that song. And he's like, well, show me how it's done. And Bill winds up like playing it perfectly. The song's like Long, Long Time, and he sings it, and like Frank gets all teary-eyed. He's like, oh, like, who's the girl? Like, who's that song for? And
there is no girl. I know.
And then there's this whole debate like, oh, well, how did Frank know that Bill was gay? And I feel like it all comes down to gaydar.
Yeah.
Which, like, you can debate whether it's real or not, but I would say there's also like the body language. Like, he made some comments towards him saying like, oh, like, ooh, a man who can pair like red with rabbit or something like that. Because you could tell that like Frank was a more experienced person while Bill was a more of a loner literally up until this moment.
And for all those weirdos out there who didn't play the game, it was informed that he was gay. This wasn't just like, oh, let's make him gay now. Like, he's been. And if you did play the game and you still think that, you did not fall for the storyline at all, which is the weirdest shit ever.
It's just people who, don't like reading or don't know how to read.
Yeah, it was like one of the craziest, not crazy, but it was like one of the most like touching performances ever. And it was like a time lapse of like through all the years they had. And I also kind of liked his interaction with Joel in the show. Instead of because like in the game he was more aggressively, but here it was just like calm aggressive in a way.
Because I feel like this whole time he's been like a lone wolf. He doesn't really know how to socially interact with people.
He only trusts Frank, and then whatever Frank says, he's kind of just like, all right, fine, you know?
One thing I did really like is when they first had that really intimate moment together. He's like, I'm just gonna stay for a few more days, and a few more days wound up turning into like 16 plus years.
And their relationship was like a married couple, because
Like that old married couple.
It was like he was like, I want to decorate the house.
I want to paint the store. So like, that's resource wasting.
The government are Nazis.
They are all Nazis. Maybe now, but not then.
Like, I don't know. I thought it was so, like, it makes you forget, like, oh yeah, that's right. They're surrounded by fungal zombies. I forget that.
It was such a touching episode. And then, of course, with that 10-year time skip, we learned that Frank has cancer. Was it cancer?
It was something, but he was bound to a wheelchair.
Yeah, Frank got really sick.
And it was like this slow, like, it was a slow burning thing where they were getting married. Oh my God, I'm actually thinking about it right now. Oh my God, that was so beautiful.
Tear break.
That was when I started like, oh my God.
Yeah, they got married because Frank decided, you know what, like, this is gonna be my last day, like, and then he was supposed to be the only one that dies, but then
they both drank like the amount of pills.
Yeah, Bill wound up putting pills in his own drink too, and his reasoning was like,
I'm old. I'm satisfied. And you were my purpose.
like without him now he doesn't have a purpose to live. Like before Frank came into his life, like his whole purpose was to survive, but now it was like to protect Frank.
And the way he carries him to the bedroom, it reminded me of like, you know, the husband holding like, look, oh my God. And then the last shot episode was the window shot, which is also like a reference to the menu. So that's why I was like, wow.
And the way they had the song that he sang for Frank, like playing in the car as they were driving away, that really got me. It was such a great episode, and I'm really glad they expanded on their story together and changed it. Because a lot of people, when you mess with like the lore of the original game, like the source material, people get mad, but I feel like this is one of those things I needed.
As someone who's played both of the games, Last of Us Part 1 and 2, honestly, I was not mad at this change. The way it ended, I always say this: if a show or movie can manage to like make me cry, I think that's a guarantee like 5 stars out of me, to be honest. So, yeah, it I didn't mind at all.
I just always cry, so it's not that hard for me to cry, but it was beautiful.
My only thing is I kind of wish we could have seen interaction with him and Ellie, because in the game it was kind of funny, but knowing how different this character was, it would have been like something else. Mm-hmm. I think Nick said that if he did meet Ellie, it would have been something like Ron Swanson
and Aubrey
and April. Yeah, it would have been something like that. And also, I want to point out the fact this actually isn't the only queer character he's played. He played one in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Did
he really?
He was a guest star, and so do you remember like Captain Holt? Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, Andrew Mayer. But he had to go to his ex because he forgot, and his ex was Nick Offerman. Oh. And he was mad at him because he said he threw out one of his wooden ducks, one of his wooden mallards, and like that was a whole beef. And
why does Nick Offerman play like always like these like rugged like survivalist?
It is so funny though. But in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it's funny because, you know, Captain Holt, he's gay, but he's like the most like robotic like person ever. So it's funny that his ex is also just like that too. But
that also brings me to the whole like Bill being gay. Like Bill is just like rough,
masculine,
like, dirt under his
I get that too, you know.
Yeah.
People think like, oh, you look straight. Like, I know, I do. Mm-hmm. But that's just how it is.
Like, that's just going to the gay doesn't have a look. Like, you have people that are more like flamboyant looking, but like gay doesn't have a specific look. And
exactly.
Yeah. Great episode. It made me cry. And you probably cried too if you watched it. If not, rewatch it again because you probably missed something.
And I can't wait for season 2 to arrive because I know there's going to be more queer representation in there now because Ellie and because I have Ellie and Dina. If you haven't played part 2, it's gonna be fucking tragic for you. I played it. I already know what's gonna go down. Literally, the first scene that I saw behind the scenes, I see the ski lodge. Yeah.
Oh.
If you know, you know.
Oh, no.
If you don't, have fun.
But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Queer Peer Reviews. Down below we have links to our social media pages as well as our Ko-Fi. If you feel like supporting us for equipment, table props, and us buying video games, seeing movies that we want to review, check that out. Also, some places you can donate to. But again, thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, shout out to Pedro Pascal, also winning the award.
I'm going to have a panic attack and I'm going to leave.
All right. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.